The world of video game consoles has needed a little bit of a shakeup recently, I feel. And boy, oh boy, a shakeup has just indeed happened because Steam has just revealed the Steam Machine, a brand new console coming in early 2026. And obviously, we're going to talk about this. First time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So the Steam Machine is indeed a reality. Now, they're also doing a Steam Frame, which is like a VR headset that does not need a PC. Like, that's pretty cool. But this is what everyone is going to be focused on. A Steam Machine, something you put under your television that runs Steam games. And we're talking runs native Steam games. Obviously, there are some implications when we're talking about the next Xbox with this. We'll get into that in a little bit. But you got to imagine that, you know, maybe not a full-on panic mode, at least at PlayStation. They're probably monitoring this well, but there's got to be a little butthole puckering over at Xbox here. So with 6 times the horsepower of a Steam Deck, Steam Machine has the power to play your whole Steam library, including your favorite AAA titles. Just sign in with your Steam account and your whole entire library is there. So they're showing off, you know, some pretty demanding games here. Black Myth Wukong, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Dying Light the Beast, and then of course you have smaller titles, but a very interesting system here. And you could see these individuals playing some Cuphead. All right. Core features that define the Steam Machine. So this is what kind of gets into the somewhat nitty-gritty of the machine itself. It operates on the Steam operating system, of course. Small form factor. It's about 6 inches. It's a 6-inch cube, which is pretty crazy. Cool and quiet. I/O for days, so you can do different sorts of ports on here and stuff like that. You know, you got your basic stuff, 4 USB-A ports, 1 USB-C port, HDMI 2.0. So, you know, basic stuff here. The CPU and GPU, which is promising 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR, thanks to a discrete, semi-custom AMD desktop class CPU and GPU. Storage is through micro SD, so not micro SD Express. I think that's pretty impressive. You could do 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes for storage with that. Connectivity, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 6, all of that sort of stuff. And there's no giant brick. Steam's Machine's power supply is built right in. And it has an LED strip. You can customize stuff. I mean, I'm not going to do anything like that unless somebody makes like a Hulk Hogan skin for the front of it. I would buy that. So somebody make one of those for me, you know, like old school Hogan, NWO Hogan, and then retirement Hogan. Scrolling on down here, we see some additional stuff. Optimized for gaming. It runs Steam OS. Steam Machine runs Valve's gaming first operating system. Steam OS is designed to provide a plug-and-play user experience while keeping the power and flexibility of a PC. Experience Steam OS in the same way that you do with other hardware, such as the Steam Deck. So if you have a Steam Deck, you already kind of know what you're getting into here. Steam Machine Verified is indeed going to be on the website as well when you're picking up games. And it's a PC. You can install your apps or even another operating system. Here's where this is where this gets very attractive for me as someone who likes to do a lot of emulation and someone who likes to do, you know, certain things with a PC. The fact that it is a PC at the end of the day with the ability to utilize it as a PC with this small form factor, this is interesting to me. This is very interesting to me. It also allows for streaming because it has enough horsepower and all that sort of stuff. Powered by Steam, optimized for gaming in any form. Then they show off the controller here. We'll take a look at the controller. I have some things I want to say about it. And then you get into the specs, how everything works with it. This is the front of the box. This is the back of the box with your different ports and stuff like that. And then we have the tech specs here. Semi-custom up to 4.8 gigahertz, 2.45 gigahertz max sustained clock, 16 gigs of DDR5 plus 8 gigs of DDR6. So pretty beefy stuff here. There's going to be 2 models, one with 512, one with 2 terabytes. And then the rest of the stuff, is just fine. It does up to 4K at 120 hertz. I don't think we'll see much of that on this device with more graphically demanding games. Supports HDR, FreeSync, and CEC. And then we'll take a look at the controller here, and then we'll start to talk about things as well. So they did go with these pads, and that D-pad looks a little bit sussy, but that, obviously we can get other controllers for this. Plug and play with the Steam controller puck. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that. It's got rumble, it's got gyro, magnetic thumbsticks. You can see here, you can also use it on your Steam Deck as well. Has trackpads, comfort and control, motion control. We already went over that. Steam button, quick access menu, grip buttons. And then it's customizable, so you can customize the pads and really the controller to kind of do whatever, which I think is pretty cool. You could play it with anything running Steam, blah, blah, blah. These two gentlemen look like they're having a fun time. I wonder what he said to him there. Like, hey, bro, you suck ass. And, oh, I do suck ass. And then just kind of showing the tech specs of it, the button layout and stuff like that. So all of this is very interesting, and I have to imagine, because obviously we don't know the price of this system, and I think that's going to be something that is key with this. What is the price of the system? The Steam Deck has been very reasonably priced. Will this have any sort of retail space as well? Is this just going to be sold via the Steam store like we see with the Steam Deck, or will there be some retail presence with this? What's the price of it and stuff like that? And I think PlayStation, it's probably kind of like, oh, damn, people could play PlayStation games that we've put on Steam on this device, and it might actually run them potentially better in some instances if the PC version has been optimized than what a base PS5 does or something like that. But I don't think it's the end of the world for PlayStation, kind of seeing something like this. My thing is, what the hell's the point of the next Xbox? Like, if we have this, and this is playing the Steam games, why do I want a Steam PC Xbox instead of this? And I get it, it's all about options and stuff like that. And of course, a lot of it is going to come down to the price point. If this is substantially cheaper than the next generation Xbox, then yeah, it kind of makes it pointless unless you're just a diehard Xbox person. But, if they're the same price, I guess you could get, or, closer in price, and then spec-wise, you could do other stuff with it, then maybe it's something that'll be worth checking out. But I find this to be very interesting. Coming in early 2026, price point is definitely going to be key with this, but I'm excited. You can take a look here at the Steam frame as well if you're big into VR stuff. It's kind of like a MetaQuest 3. Obviously, the technology is going to be a bit better, but obviously, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I just think VR is a very niche thing, and I think it's always going to be a very niche thing, and there's really no coming back from it being a niche thing, and there's nothing wrong with that, inherently speaking. That's fine, but you need to realize that, and I think Steam probably does realize that. But this thing right here, this is interesting. It's an option. Steam game prices are usually cheaper than other game prices. If you can also, since it's a PC, I'm going to assume you can use GOG on this as well. So if you want to play classic delisted games that GOG has brought back, and as long as everything kind of works like a console, if I can use this out of the box without needing a mouse and a keyboard, and then if I want to do my nonsense with emulators and stuff like that, then I bust out the mouse and keyboard. That's obviously a very different thing. But if I could do everything with just the controller and just the controller to, access my games, to choose which games I want to play, the controller is already optimized in a way for the games so that it recognizes it, so I don't have to mess around with controller settings unless I want something a little bit different. This could be very attractive. This could be very interesting, man. I am definitely keeping an eye on this because there are things on PC that I would like to play, but I just do not want to sit in front of my computer. I want to sit in front of my television. I want the ease of a console. And if this gives me the ease of a console, we could potentially have a winner here, folks. But it all comes down to the price point. How much does the damn thing cost? You're talking $500-$600? I think we're having a conversation. I think we're having a conversation about it. If we're getting up to 4 digits, it'd be a little bit of a tougher sale. But let me know in the comments section down below. What do you think about the Steam machine, the Steam controller, I guess, by extension, the Steam frame? Do you think this might put a little bit of a, it kind of makes the Xbox thing lose its sizzle a little bit, in my opinion, especially if it's just an Xbox with Steam on it, because, I mean, you could buy this much sooner than that, and then you could pretty much do a lot of, it's obviously, things are going to be very optimized for this system, more so, I don't know, but you could play Spider-Man on your Steam box, your Steam machine, and some pretty interesting graphical settings, folks. The video game industry is heating up, and I am enjoying it. Let me know what you think of everything in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. It's very cold here in the Northeast. It started snowing yesterday. I look like a conehead. I don't care. I'm trying to stay warm. It's kind of chilly in the basement. Later.